Clarksville is one of our most popular markets. I'll let Malika talk a little bit more about the area when I bring her on. But first, a little bit about myself. I have been with Marshall Reddick for just over 6 years now. My husband and I actually started as clients. So it's been really an exciting journey for me to be able to continue to build our portfolio and continue to work with my clients who want to do exactly what my husband and I do and have been doing for the last few years of my employment, and then of course prior to my starting with Marshall Reddick. So these are just a few little stats about me. We own several properties across the nation, all in areas and markets where Marshall Reddick has a presence. So we know the teams well, we know the agents well, and of course I'm always happy to answer questions about my own portfolio, my experience, etc., with all of you out there who are curious or who are getting started, who are seasoned investors but want to learn a little bit more about Marshall Reddick or about what our process has been. Anything and everything. Always feel free to reach out. So here's just a little bit more info, some more stats. My husband and I have been purchasing land and developing in Cape Coral, in addition to purchasing in other markets, as I mentioned, where Marshall Reddick has a presence. I average about 62 transactions per year. And as it says on the screen, that's not including my own. I don't feel like it's fair to include my own purchases in my numbers, but if you want to, that might actually be a little higher. I would actually have to run that and see. Again, just a few additional stats about myself and what I've done with and at the company. All of us out there who are looking at investing and thinking about investing in real estate, we all have different reasons, we all have different motivations, and the screen right now is showing you my motivations. My husband and I have worked really hard to build a real estate portfolio so that we can spend more time with these little goofballs. That's Cassie, she's 4, and Justin's 6. And it was always, you know, when I became a mom, one thing that was really important to me was being able to drop off my kids and pick them up at the end of their school day or their daycare day and be able to take them to activities. So Jason and I have worked really hard to make that a reality for us, and we are happily able to do that on a daily basis and spend that time with our kids. So this is what I work for. That bottom left-hand photo is one of our recent duplex constructions in Cape Coral, so we have actually been able to travel down there a little bit in recent months. And real quick, before I go on to the next screen, I see a question that says, what are MR transactions? So if you see MR on the screen, that's just short for Marshall Reddick. So those are Marshall Reddick real estate transactions for you, John. I talked a little bit about my husband and I's real estate portfolio. So this is what that looks like. I like to say in my presentations, one property doesn't make you a millionaire. Even 5 properties sometimes won't get you there. But what's important is having a plan, having a strategy so that you can create a plan and make a scalable investment portfolio so that for those of you out there who would like to start a family and want to be able to pick up your kids, or, you know, folks out there who have grown children and are looking towards your own retirement, there's definitely a very methodical way to go about creating a plan and a strategy that works for you so that you can accomplish those goals that are important for you to accomplish through real estate investing. So again, just a quick snapshot of our portfolio. Again, always happy to answer questions about anything that you see on tonight's presentation, including my own experience. So don't hold back. For those of you who are new to Marshall Reddick Real Estate, we are a full service real estate brokerage. So we help our clients across all of our markets to buy and sell real estate, not only investment properties, but primary residences as well. So we cover the gamut of real estate brokerage. We're also a property manager in all of our markets. So our clients can purchase a rental property, for example, with Malika in Clarksville, and have a very seamless transaction to property management as it's all in-house and our team works together in the same office. And finally, we're a private money lender. So for our clients out there who are purchasing property with a self-directed IRA or in an LLC or have exhausted their number of conventional loans that they can obtain, we do offer other options for those investors. On the other side of that, it's a great opportunity for our clients who want to invest in real estate but don't want to own the actual asset to be a private money lender and essentially act as the bank for those borrowers that are borrowing the private money. So we really are a one-stop shop to our clients across the board of these services. In addition to what we offer in-house, of course, we have connections to lenders and CPAs, insurance providers, real estate attorneys, estate planners, building inspectors, pretty much anybody who would, could, or should be a part of your real estate transaction or the life of your real estate portfolio. We can help make those connections for you to really streamline the process and help our clients get the absolute best in representation. So here's a quick snapshot of our markets. We are across the United States. We offer our clients several different options and opportunities for rental properties. Of course, tonight we're going to be highlighting Clarksville, Tennessee, and I'll bring Malika on in just a couple of slides. I did want to point out, however, that the green boxes that you see on the screen are going to be areas where Marshall Reddick has an office and our own employees. So your conversation with your consultation may start with an advisor who's located here in California. And when you connect to your agent in one of these markets that's outlined in green, that will also be another Marshall Reddick employee. If you see a city on your screen right now and it's not outlined in green, that simply means that we work with a third-party team in that area. So that's the difference there. Lots of options, as I mentioned, for our clients who are looking at rental properties out of state. And I get asked a lot, how do we decide which markets we're going to look at? How do we measure the success, if you will, of a real estate market? So there's several criteria that we do look at. Of course, job market. We want a lot of economic diversity within that job market, and we want to see that there's a lot of opportunity for employment. We want to see a low vacancy rate, housing affordability, not only for buyers, but also for renters. We want to make sure that in the areas where we would recommend our clients purchase property, that rent is affordable and that we can secure a quality tenant. We want to look at landlord friendly. We always want the laws to be on our side. In Tennessee, of course, that is going to be the case, in Kentucky as well. We'll talk a little bit more about management a little later on. And of course, if you guys have questions about management or tenant rights, landlord rights, etc., we can get those answered for you as well. Rounding out the final two criteria are a strong education and, of course, reliable property management. So we look at these 7 criteria, we evaluate the markets against them, and Clarksville is one of those markets that has continuously, shown us that it stands up where these areas are concerned. We've seen consistent performance in the area. It's a very steady Eddy market, and we're going to show you guys that, and we're going to look at some of those things on tonight's presentation. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce Malika Womack. She was our third-party representative before Marshall Reddick opened an office in Clarksville, and we were lucky enough to be able to recruit her to continue to work with us and with our clients. She's an excellent realtor. She's an excellent woman. And Malika, it's my pleasure to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for joining us tonight for a short time. As it says, I am licensed in the state of Tennessee as well as the state of Kentucky. I oversee all Marshall Reddick turnkey properties, properties that we find and handpick, look at what needs to be done to them, and make them brand spanking new for you guys, and help you find a tenant in place. So I oversee that. And I just know the area. I know Clarksville and Oak Grove very well. I've been here for about 11 years now. And, Oak Grove is not very big, and, Clarksville is a little bigger, but I've just learned it and studied it and analyzed it. And, so now they call me the local expert. So, if you're not really familiar exactly where Clarksville is at, um, we're a little north, about 50 miles north of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'm sorry, of Nashville, Tennessee, and we're about 30, I say about 27 to 30 miles a little south of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So we're kind of in between the Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville area, and then it's Clarksville, and then they go up, go a little further south, you go to Nashville. So not a far drive at all if you're trying to go to that city and go to Nashville. We're not that far of a. So this is according to Zillow. According to Zillow, the average property right now, the value is around 247,000. I would probably say 250. I might say this might be just a slightly under if you're looking for a property that you want to put an offer in on, or that you're looking for that property that you're going to be able to cash flow and you'll be able to have available for the tenants, where the price points are going to be affordable for them, and what they really go to. It's going to be somewhere between that 200 to 250 $1,000 price point, and that's the average that you're seeing. Majority of the homes that are listed on MLS are going to be in that price point, and that's for Clarksville. Here you'll see Oak Grove is slightly different. Oak Grove is a little lower. According to Zillow, it's around 123, 490, but I think that is a little low. I think that the properties that I've been seeing in Oak Grove are going to be like around 130, maybe slightly higher than 130. So definitely a lot of appreciation. The values of the homes have went up, anywhere between 9.5 to about 11.5% over the last year or so. Here's a little snippet of our office. So we recently just moved. So the office in the upper left-hand corner is the previous office that we were at, and we were there for a couple of years. And if you look down in the lower left, that is our new office. We've been there a little bit over a month. It's a lot bigger. We have more space, and we're loving it. We're getting all settled in and getting, used to the new location, which we're not that far from the old office. The old office was probably about a mile and a half, or mile, between a mile and a mile and a half, down the street. So we're not that far from the old office, just, bigger, and we have more signage. You can kind of see it from the street. So that's our new office. In our office, we offer sales agents, leasing, property management. We do the turnkey properties, and we also do private financing and private lending. One-stop shop, that's what we are. So this gives you a little idea of the population in Clarksville. Clarksville has grown tremendously over the last 10 years that I've been here. I've seen it grow tremendously. But the population is about a little over 300,000. The median age is like 31 and a half, I guess you would say. And the median income is about $53,000 a year. So because of those price points and those the dynamics of that is determining where the average housing price is at. All that plays and factor together. Our home ownership rate here in Clarksville is 59%. The median home price is 213. I would say that is very accurate. Unemployment rate is like a little bit over 5%. And unfortunately, that's probably accurate as well. But it's still a lot of, job opportunities in this area. Key facts about Clarksville, Tennessee: 20.8% year-over-year appreciation. And that might be a little under, it might be slightly higher than that because properties have really appreciated. I've seen properties that I've sold initially back in 2015, 2016, that I sold for 70,000 or 80,000, and now those same properties are selling for 160, 180 or more. So the average market rent is 1388. I would agree with that. Most tenants are looking for something under that $1,400 dollar price point. So I would think that I would agree with that. And our median home price is well below the national average. And I would say that even though we have seen the prices go up in rents, we've seen the prices go up in the cost of housing, I still would think that we're still affordable here in Clarksville. This area is still affordable compared to some of the other markets and some of the other places in the U.S. Ultra low cost for insurance and property taxes. Property taxes have increased some. If you've been one of our owners that have a property in this area, in this market, you probably have seen some of the prices go up in the insurance, but it's still not as bad as some other areas in some of the other markets. Okay. Super high rental demand that is constantly growing. That is 100% correct. There is a strong demand for rental properties. Most of the time when we put a property on the market for rent, that same day, if not the next day, we got several leads, several emails, calls, text messages about it because it's a shortage. The same way there's a shortage for inventory for investors and buyers that are in the market to buy, there's also a shortage for rental properties. Like, people get very upset and frustrated because they can't find a rental. So I will agree with that. Top 5 reasons why people are moving to Clarksville, Tennessee. A lot of people are moving here too, folks. It's the traffic is getting crazy. I have super anxiety when I come out to California and I'm like, going from one place to another or something. The traffic is like, I gotta have a Xanax or something because my nerves are like on edge, right? Well, it's getting that way in Clarksville because there's so many people that are moving here. They're like coming by the busloads or something, that the traffic is crazy. And Christmas is right around the corner and it's super crazy around Christmas time. So I'm probably going to work from home for about 2.5 months just to get that Christmas traffic out the way. But number one, residents in Clarksville enjoy the lowest cost of living in the entire state of Tennessee. Now, I don't know about the entire state of Tennessee because there's some rural areas that probably have lower rent, but I say as far as, a metro or close to a metro city goes, I would definitely agree with that. It's still very affordable here, even with the increase that we're seeing. It's only 50 miles northwest of Nashville, Tennessee. So if you like to go to a ball game or a hockey game or just, go shopping or do some serious shopping or something, we're not that far from Nashville at all. The city offers a variety of activities of residents to engage in throughout the year. Absolutely true. There's always something going on in Clarksville. We have a winery here. There's always like jazz on the lawn. They do that pretty much year round until it gets extremely cold. There's things going on down by the riverfront. They're building more and more different, different places are coming here. So there's just activities and things for, children, for your family and for you to do. Job growth and diversity. Absolutely. We have some of the top companies in the world here located in Clarksville. and more is coming. You know, we get the newsletters of what's, you know, going to be built, or this is being, you see the groundbreaking and you're like, oh, what's that going to be? And then you find out that it's another company coming or another factory or something like that. And despite being in the South, Clarksville is an incredibly comfortable city to live in. I will tell you this, I meet a lot of military families because we're a military town. And there's so many families that I have met, that I meet on a daily basis, that they want to settle here in Clarksville when they get out of the military. They have been here for a couple of years, they love it, and they want to stay here. So I totally agree with that too. Clarksville is among the country's fastest growing metro areas. Clarksville, Tennessee ranks as the fifth fastest growing housing market in the US in the terms of new housing permits. I believe that. If you come to Clarksville and you do a tour with me and you want to come here and kind of see the area and see, you know, like your property or a property that you're thinking about buying or something like that, you'll see all the different subdivisions going up. Like when I first moved here 10 years ago, it was a lot of farmland. So it was like farmland everywhere, soybeans, corn, you know, just different things they were growing. Now all that farmland has been sold. Developers have purchased that farmland, and now they are building subdivisions. And, you know, some of the subdivisions, you know, they have nice, super nice homes, $300,000 homes, and you know you see them kind of close together because that developer want to minimize and build as many homes in that, you know, subdivision as they can. So definitely I agree with that. Clarksville growth coincides with the job boom in Nashville, which is located less than an hour away. That's also true. I think in 2014 I started seeing a lot of people that were moving from Nashville, and they wanted to keep their job in Nashville because the job paid more and they had been on their job for a while. So they wanted to keep their job in Nashville, but the cost of living was so expensive there that they were like, I would rather move to Clarksville and make that 45-minute or hour drive to get to Nashville, and just instead of living in Nashville and paying, you know, $500 to $600 more in rent every month. So 3,149 new single family home permit requested in Clarksville from April. That is absolutely true. That goes back to what I was telling you earlier. There's hardly any land vacant because the developers are buying up the farmland and, you know, land, clearing it off, and they're building new subdivisions. Hankook Tires is doubling its production and its Clarksville facility, while LG Electronics is adding 300 new jobs in its facility in Clarksville. I have family members both at Hankook and LG. And yes, LG definitely is constantly hiring. Hankook is growing, is building out. The last time I rode by there, I noticed like, hey, this wasn't there last time. Like they're building and expanding as well. So that goes back to when I said, you know, a lot of people are moving here just because the job opportunities that's here. Everybody's hiring right now. And I'm sure you're seeing that all over the world, but I think it's double in Clarksville. Like they are, like I will give you a sign-on bonus to come and work. Like everybody's hiring. Here's some of the companies that we have here in sweet old Clarksville. We have Google. Google started off kind of small, then decided, you know what, we like it here, and then they actually said we're going to hire some more people and we're going to expand our building and, you know, kind of expand the company within Clarksville. So we have Google, we have Hankook, we have Train. Train makes commercial size HVAC units. So the HVAC units that are on like malls and doctor offices and places like that, hospitals, as more than likely is going to be a Train unit. Then we have Bridgestone. They make tires, of course. We also have Austin Peay University here, and that's another. You know, we have tenants looking at are like in graduate school that want, you know, to rent a property, or the professors, you know. And of course, you know, we have the military base here, Fort Campbell, LG and Tenova. So these are just some of the examples of, you know, the different companies that's here and different employers, and why people are trying to move here and want to move here because, you know, it's lucrative here in Clarksville. they can, find them a good, decent job and affordable housing. Fort Campbell, we are the second largest military base in the world. It's massive. If you ever come and you do a tour, you can see it for yourself. It runs on both sides of the state, Tennessee and Kentucky. So, and I can't tell you how many miles it goes, but it's a super big military base. We have a lot. We have 101st Infantry that's here, and it's like a revolving door. We'll get so many troops here, they stay, they do a tour for so long, and then they leave, and then another set comes in. So it's like always soldiers coming, soldiers leaving, but as soon as they leave, they're coming right back. And that's another reason that the demand for rental properties are so high, because we have Fort Campbell on top of all these other companies that have employees that's looking for housing as well. So Kristen is going to talk to you about the data packages that we have available.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you, Malika. I saw a few questions come through that were asking about some of the market specific information about the appreciation over the years, how Clarksville fared in the last crash. And so this market packet is going to be a compilation of all of that type of information. So there's going to be economic details, there's going to be hospitality details, what do people do for fun? You're going to see charts and graphs and all kinds of great information on the market. And this is a free download on the Marshall Reddick website that all of you on the webinar right now have access to. And feel free to share it with your friends as well if you have folks that are interested in the market and weren't able to make it tonight for any reason. This is going to be extremely helpful in gathering market-specific information for Clarksville. And as part of the market information and details that you'll find on our website, this is the metropolitan statistical data for Clarksville. So this is going to include Oak Grove as well. They are part of the same metropolitan area. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is the most recent data we have from the National Association of Realtors as it pertains to this specific area. So your top left is going to be the appreciation trend. So for those of you who were asking that question in your question panel, you can see this goes back to 1996, and you can see that historically Clarksville has been a very steady Eddy market. As Malika mentioned a little earlier, the holding costs are low. That's your taxes, your insurance, your mortgage payments, because these properties are going to be very reasonably priced as compared to some other markets across the nation. And so you can see that this market has performed very well over the decades and has been very stable. When we look at 2008, 9, and 10, 2008, there was just zero change. There were some markets across the nation where home prices plummeted up to 50%. So then we saw 0.5% decrease in 2010. So over the years, values have maintained, the rental demand is still there. As Malika also mentioned, there's always demand from military tenants, folks who are employed on the base, people moving to work for one of the many companies that are also moving out there because the cost of doing business is much less than in some other states. So overall, the performance of the market has been very strong. If you look over on the right side, of course, that is the graph in numerical format. So just kind of depends on how you like to look at your data, but those are pretty much showing you the same info. And then down below is going to be your scale. If you have not read the Reddick Property Rating ebook yet, this pertains directly to that information. This is specific to property classes. A lot of our clients determine what type of property they'd like to purchase after reading that ebook. So if you haven't done that yet, I highly recommend that you do. Also a free download on the website. But this is showing the scale for home values, and the median home price, if we look at Clarksville and Oak Grove together as one metro, is about 175. So it's really a great market for getting in the door at a little bit of a lower price point where you can still get a really good quality performing property. So for those of you who were asking, here's your market data and your appreciation information. And of course, if you have any questions, we go ahead and type them in your question panel. I've been able to get to some of them. And if I don't get to you this evening, we will definitely make sure to reach out via email or phone tomorrow, and Malika and I will be sure to get everyone's questions answered. So with that, we do have, of course, the moment everybody is waiting for. The fun part now, Malika is going to present some properties. And what's unique about the Clarksville and Oak Grove area is, as she mentioned a little earlier in the presentation, we do offer rent-ready options in this particular market. So these are going to be properties that have been rehabbed, have likely been rented, and they are exclusive to the Marshall Reddick website. So you don't have to deal with competition from third parties, and you don't have to worry about competition from other Marshall Reddick clients either, because as soon as we have an offer that we accept from any of our clients, we consider that property no longer to be available. So this is a really unique option that we have for our clients. In addition to that, we do also have MLS opportunities and those third-party properties for our clients as well. And again, if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to let us know. And with that, I'm going to send it back over to Malika so we can start looking at some inventory.
Thank you, Kristen. So as Kristen mentioned, we have, the Marshall Reddick rent-ready properties, which you will call them turnkey. And then we also have properties that's off the standard MLS. I'll be completely honest with you. The inventory with our Marshall Reddick rent-ready has been kind of slim right now. And as soon as one is finished, it goes under contract. So I don't have one that's going to be on this webinar tonight, but if you want to hear more about that, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see what I have coming up. This property here on Crystal Drive is an MLS property, so it is a listing that's just on the standard MLS. And I want to be 100% transparent with you so you'll understand what it would take to get a property like this. So this property list price is at $190,000. So 99% of the properties are going into crazy multiple offer battles. So a property like this could easily go for 205. It could easily go for around 205. So you're looking at anywhere between $7,000 to about $15,000 over asking price is like what the standard accepted offer is going for right.
Malika, we lost you. Malika, I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't have any audio. I don't know if the rest of the viewers do either. We lost you for a minute there. Sorry, everyone, if you can still hear me. It seems like we're having a little bit of technical error with the audio. I'm going to see if we can get it back on Malika's end. In the interim, the property that we're looking at now is going to be your luxury class property. This is brand spanking new. It's a 2020, and these are a little fewer and farther between. Looks like I've got some of you saying there's no audio at all. So let's see. What we can do here. If you can hear me, can you guys let me know? I've got a few of you saying you can hear me. I've got a few of you saying you have no audio at all. Malika, I don't know if you can hear me. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, John. Well, I'm glad that you guys can hear me. So I'm not sure what's going on with Malika's audio. If you are looking at your screen right now, we're looking at some different properties in the Clarksville area, of course. This is an A-class property built in 1993. We get asked sometimes if the age of the property has anything to do with the property class. It does not. It's based on the location, it's based on the crime ratings, it's based on the school ratings. And so the location of this property and the price point is going to put it in that A-class rating. So gross rent at $1,500. As you scroll down here on the right-hand side, these are going to be your financials for this property. And you can find these as well on the Marshall Reddick website. There is an interactive financial calculator that is attached to each and every property, so that if you go in there, you can adjust those figures. For example, if you see estimated maintenance at 8% of the monthly rent and you feel like that's a little high, you can reduce that and you can bring it down to a maintenance amount that you feel to be more suited for the property or the area that you're looking in. You can do the same thing with vacancy, and you can adjust several other fields in that financial calculator so that it really can reflect the numbers the way you would like to see them. Leasing fee, that's 50% of 1 month's rent. That's taken over 18 months because we have found that on average, you're going to see a tenant turnover every 18 months. And so if you're putting aside 50% of your monthly rental income per month, then, and extend that over 18 months, then you'll have, I'm sorry, everybody, my son walked into the room and I'm trying to go through the webinar and ask him to leave at the same time. So now you know he's here. And we have moved on to the property management slide. So really quickly on the leasing fee, if you take your rental income and you retain 50% over the 18 months, which was $41 for that last property, and you save $41 each month for 18 months, you will have accumulated half of the rent, which will cover your leasing fee for the next property. Typical security deposit, great question. The security deposit is typically equal to 1 month's rent. If that is different for any reason, management will notify you directly, and an agreement will be come to on the security deposit, but that is typically going to be equal to 1 month's rent. And in front of you now, you're seeing the numbers for property management. We have a very simple fee structure. We have a lot of automated systems and procedures, including an owner and a tenant portal. We set our owners and tenants up on direct deposit so that makes it really streamlined and easy for our owners and our renters. And then at the bottom, you can see what your monthly management fee is going to look like. So single family, which is primarily what our clients own in the Clarksville market, is going to be 8% per month of rental income. And when your tenant pays rent, that will be automatically deducted by the management team, and the rest of that rental income will be dispersed directly to you into that account that you set up on your owner portal. So very streamlined. As we mentioned earlier, everyone's in the same office so that we can create an easy transition for our owners and give you guys the best in service for property management. So again, if you have questions on anything that you see on your screen, or perhaps you own property in the Clarksville area already and you're looking to interview another management company, we're always happy to speak with anyone who's interested in our services, so that we can see if it's going to be the right fit. So let's go ahead and we will move on. I'm going to go ahead and take control back here. I apologize again for the audio, and I'm not sure. We'll have to figure out why exactly we're not hearing Malika any longer. But I mentioned a little earlier on in the presentation that we do offer complimentary consultations for our clients. So that kind of looks like this. With your advisor, you'll cover the who, what, where, when, why, and how of your rental options, and we'll talk about how much you're looking to invest. We'll talk about what criteria is important to you. We'll get you in touch with the right people and make sure that everything kind of runs smoothly from start to finish. So if you're interested in setting up that consultation, then you can do that on the website. You can go to marshareddick.com/consultation. And if you'd like that consultation to be with me, you can request that. If you would like that consultation to be with another one of our real estate advisors, you can make that request as well. Or you can reach out to me directly. You can send me a text, or you can call me, or you can shoot me over an email, and I'm happy to set up those consultations so that we have enough time to cover all of those questions, also so that I can answer questions that you guys have out there at home. And I wanted to go ahead and try to get to some of the questions now. We ended a little bit early. We weren't expecting to, but with our unexpected audio issues, we have a few questions that I wanted to try to get to. Fred asks if flood insurance is required. Flood insurance is only going to be required if your property is in a flood zone, and we will check that. We'll try to make sure that that's not the case, so that your flood insurance policy is not required. Then if it is determined that it's in a flood zone, we can go ahead and decide if we still want to move forward. So let me see if there's any other questions. Another question about management. Management is going to cover any calls from tenants, from the folks that are living in your property. And they're going to coordinate maintenance. They're going to coordinate showings if your tenant does decide to move out or give notice that they're going to be moving out. They'll go over, once that tenant does vacate, check out the property, see what rent-ready repairs need to be done, what maintenance is required, etc., so that we can quickly get those things addressed and quickly get the property back on the market, so that there's very little delay and there's very little cost for you in terms of vacancy. We want to try to limit that as much as possible. So that being said, if you do have additional questions about management, or what is covered. That information is also available on our Marshall Reddick website. Let's see, people are asking to see Malika's info again, so I'm gonna pop that back up on your screen. Malika's info is located here in front of you. You can always call, text, or email her as well. She's very responsive. She gives excellent answers. She's very matter of fact and to the point, so you can always depend on her to be honest and truthful and tell it like it is, which is something that is really a good quality in an agent and one of the reasons we really love working with her. So Keisha, there you go. Hopefully you were able to jot that down. Rhonda, I'm not sure when we'll have more rent-ready properties, if that's what you're asking about, but new properties do hit the MLS pretty frequently, and we try to update our website at least once a week. So those should be available for everybody to see. And of course, if you're interested in seeing more inventory from this particular market, you can reach out to Malika or myself, and we can connect with all the parties that are necessary to make that happen, get you on an email campaign so that whenever the website is updated, you'll be notified, so you'll be able to take a look. And if you'd like to be set up on an MLS search from Malika directly, then she can help with that as well by setting up the criteria that you want to see and pinging you with properties as often as you'd like to see them. So that being said, we are going to go ahead and close it out for tonight. For those of you, I just saw another question pop up. I promise we'll get to everyone's questions either via email or a phone call. Malika and I will be reaching out to everybody tomorrow. And again, feel free, if you'd like to reach out to one of us before you hear from us, you can go ahead and reach out to Malika or myself directly. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Apologies again for the technical issues, but we will definitely do our best and get all the details out to all of you that you're looking for. I know she can't hear me, but I also want to give my thanks to Malika. It's always a pleasure doing webinars with her. It's always a pleasure to work with her, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to possibly work with some of you that are on the presentation tonight and Malika to build your real estate portfolios. So I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you again so much for joining us, and we will hopefully be speaking with you soon. Thank you so much.